Hey folks, it's John Ferguson Smart here. I wanted to record a real quick video just on something I see a lot on LinkedIn. I see a lot of posts talking about page objects, how great the page object model is, how it's basically the ultimate way of doing UI design. And I wanted to clarify a few things. Now, page objects are fine. They do the job. They're a great step up from basic test scripting. So if you've just learned how to write a basic Selenium or Playwright or Cypress script or whatever, and then you discover page objects and you figure out how to write your code in a way that's a little bit more maintainable, a little bit more reusable using page objects, that's great. It's a step in the right direction. But don't stop there. Learning doesn't stop at the first design pattern you come across. In fact, page objects were deliberately designed originally. The original concept of page objects in Selenium was viewed as a stepping stone to help testers understand design patterns. It was never designed to be the ultimate end goal of UI test automation design. Because once you think about once you mastered the concept that you can refactor code into page objects and make things a little bit more maintainable, you realize that page objects actually have their limitations. When you've got a complex UI, when you've got lots of different components that are reused between different pages, your page objects can become very complex and hard to maintain and bloated and be basically a bit of a mess. And then this makes your test suite hard to maintain and fragile, and we don't want that. So you might realize that, well, maybe if we didn't model the page in its entirety, but we just modeled little bits of the page, that'd be an easy approach. And you're right, that would be. It would be better to model the menu bar or the search box or the help dialog, all these different components that are used in different places, model them as different components. That's cool too. But then when you figure that out, you realize that, hey, what am I really doing here? I'm not really in the business of modeling a user interface in my code. That's not the goal of test automation. The goal of test automation is to model the behavior of your users, not the behavior of your user interface. And that's a big distinction, because when you have a test, you want to model a user who adds an item to the cart or who registers as a new user, who creates a new account. You want to model those actions, those tasks. You don't want to model click on this button, enter this field. They're means to an end. So what you really want to be capturing and modeling is these concepts, these domain-specific concepts like register a new account, add an item to the shopping cart, check out the item, purchase an item. All of these business-related concepts, they should be your building blocks. And underneath those building blocks, you will interact with the user interface or maybe an API or a database or something else. There are different ways you can implement your individual actions. And that is the next step up. That's where for large-scale, scalable applications, large applications, where you get your scalability. That's where you get your maintainability. That's where the real design comes into play. So try and think, if you're at the page object level, try and think beyond page objects and see what comes next. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say this time around. Thanks for listening, folks.